Sam Houston, the sleazy midnight lover. Slam Houston, the sleazy midnight lover, gets to come out and play during the day. What do the Bearcats have as they head to Murfreesboro, Tennessee, the suburbs of Nashville? Who's going to start quarterback? Have you fallen in love all over again with certain defensive coordinators or assistant coaches? We're talking about it all tonight. The Bearkat Bites podcast is live. I am Fobbs. Second to last game of the year. The Bearkat Bites podcast. You can check it out right there year round. We're writing about, doing professional media coverage, reporting journalistic stuff about Sam Houston football. Why? Because you care. Why? Because it matters to you. Why? Because you jump in the comments here every week with something to say. So we are here for you guys. And I want to know, what do you think? What do you all think about this game? Who's going to be the quarterback? Before we get to that, check the links in the comments. These are now live on our website, our coffee website. You can get the Santa Claus slippers, the Santa Claus. Remember that movie with Tim Allen? That's what these are. It's Sam Houston, but you see who it is. He's got the beard. It's the old Saint Nick. Get these for the wife. Get these for the kiddos. These are a lot of fun. They're $30, or you can join us at the $50 level. You'll get this, and you're going to get a Sam Houston t-shirt. How about that? So, with all of that being said, Sam Houston's heading to Middle Tennessee. They're riding a 2-game win streak. Won 2 of their last 3. The offenses look good for the last 3 games, put up 500 yards against La Tech. That was a loss, but now they're starting to punch it into the end zone now. Now they've got Coco Brown figured out. Now they've got the offensive line kind of shuffled and figured out. You know, we talked about Phil Longo. You'll be able to read that in the newsletter tomorrow about about the how the offensive line, you know, the Isaac Son is playing left tackle a little bit. They've shifted guys in and out. Not necessarily changing the starters, but letting more guys play, and that allows them to find more combinations that they like. So that's very good. The offensive line has played a lot better. Penalties are down. They're not turning the ball over that much. But we got to know, this is the main question. Who's going to start at quarterback for Sam Houston? Who's it going to be? Hunter Watson out for the year. Let's start with that right now. Hunter Watson out for the season. That effectively ends his time as a member of the Sam Houston Bearcats football team. But people will remember him. He won the first ever bowl game for Sam. Helped win the first ever bowl game for Sam Houston as a member of college football's highest level. So that's a good thing. Very tough player, very tough guy under center. Had a couple of knee problems, shoulder issues, concussion or 2. But he still got in there. He still made it happen. And there's something to be said for that. Now, again, I've told you all here, I don't think that he necessarily fit Phil Longo's system, but he did his best with what he was dealt. So there is that. But now, and I'm sure there'll be something to honor him at the end of the game against FIU, the final home game. The only sad thing is that it's not happening at Bowers. You know, Watson's final game is going to take place in front of probably a few hundred people in the middle of forgotten Houston. You know what I'm saying? In the middle of East Houston, in my opinion, the land that time forgot. And that's really sad because Watson, I don't know if he's an all-timer. I mean, you know, we can't say that in a program that gave us Josh McCown. That's debatable, but he's definitely one of the more important members of the Sam Houston football program the past couple of years. So that deserves something. And it's kind of sad that that's going to happen in Houston, right? So far away from campus, you know, but it'd be like that sometimes. So for now, who do you want under center? Do you want to see Mabry Matoyer, who looked a little bit better against Oregon State? He did enough for them to win, but he didn't finish the game, but he didn't turn the ball over either. Longo talked about that, how they're not turning the ball over. So there's that. Or do you want Landon Locke? If you put in Locke, that's it. That 1 year is gone. You want to waste a year on a 3 or 4 win campaign? Do you want to break his red shirt in a 3 or 4 win campaign? And I know that, you know, you want to be competitive. You want to win every contest that's in front of you, but you got to start thinking strategically. At this point now, it's about the future. I mean, you're 2-8. You're not going to make a bowl game. You know, you're playing in front of hundreds of people. I am not saying this to say that he'll be better than what they've rolled out at quarterback, but why not just let DJ Bailey be your backup? Let him get some stuff on tape. It's 2 more games. And I'm not saying throw in the towel because this defense has been playing very well. This defense has been actually pretty good finally. They're finally getting a good pass rush over the past couple of games. 8 sacks. 8 sacks. Don't let that pass you by. They had 8 sacks last week. Christopher Eaton Jr. with 3 of those 8. So they're getting home. They're really starting to. And that defensive line's gotten healthier. So they're going to be all right defensively, I think. So with that being said, hold on, let's see here. So Freddie Autry-Lindsey, do you all love Freddie Autry-Lindsey again? Get in there in those comments and sound off. How do you feel about defensive coordinator Freddie Autry-Lindsey? Some of you all were calling for his job. Some of you all were saying that he's getting out coached. And a lot of those opinions were valid, especially against New Mexico State, against UTEP. I believe even Jack State. There were a couple of times, like after timeouts, they just looked like, what the hell is that, right? But right now, they look pretty good. They look pretty good right now. Again, they're getting home. They're forcing a lot of turnovers, and they're recovering those turnovers. And that speaks to a defense that's still dialed in. And that speaks to a slightly improving defense. I still don't think they have enough in the back end and the defensive backs. So if the quarterback's back for Middle Tennessee is able to kind of throw, they've got some pretty good receivers, and I don't know if Sam Houston can cover those. But the front seven has gotten a lot better, and this is without Jahmyr Diaz, who's likely he's out for the year, right? This is all happening without Jahmyr Diaz, so I think that's really good. What do you all think about that? Sound off here in the comments. It's kind of what I see here as they enter this game. Sam Houston, finally a day game. Going to be 2 p.m. Central in suburban Nashville, which I think is a bit high. I think that's a bit high. I could be wrong, but I always pick Sam Houston to not cover if I'm going to bet on him, right? But this is a game where possibly there'd be some value. I don't know that -6.5, that's a big number for Middle Tennessee. They're likely starting a freshman quarterback, Roman Gagliano, I think. Excuse me. The guy threw for a pair of touchdowns, and he almost threw for 400 yards. I think 389. So, the problem is going to be the offensive line. Middle Tennessee's offensive line has been horrible all year. And for Sam Houston, that could be the difference. That's why I'm going to go ahead and pick the Cats in this game. I'm going to go ahead and pick Sam Houston in this game. But I could be wrong. Who knows? I'll pick them. Last week I picked Sam Houston to beat Delaware. So we'll see how that goes. I think it could be something like Sam Houston 21, Middle Tennessee 20. I could see something like that. These are 2 of the worst programs. Defensive statistics, offensive statistics. They're all pretty bad. Both of these programs are at the bottom of Conference USA, so it could become a game of attrition. It could be one of those games where something's just got to give. It could be one of those games. What do you all think? What do you think? How do you think this game will play out? Are you feeling a lot better than you normally would have about Sam Houston? I certainly am. As a writer and an observer, there's a lot more pep in their step. You can see from Phil Longo, the head coach. You can see the locker room. You can see the players. There's just a lot more light feeling right now. So that's very interesting. We'll see what happens. We're going to see what happens. By the way, we got some housekeeping things. For those of y'all who are with us. No post game. No coverage of Middle Tennessee from Bearkat Bites this weekend. None of that this weekend. We'll actually be overseas at a wedding in Barcelona, Spain. So my friend of a long time is committed to the cardinal sin of getting married during college football season. So what that means is also we will not have a post-game show. We will not have coverage. We will not have the college football thread on Twitter X. What else? We will not be there for Phil Longo's Tuesday press conference. We'll pull it down and listen to it like we do, but we will not have Phil Longo's press conference available. We're not going to have that like we do on Tuesdays. So a couple of things a little wonky as we get to the end of the season. We will be back for the home finale against FIU, against Florida International, which I think will be a fun game. I think Florida FIU is going to be I think they're going to need that game if they want to get to a bowl. So it's going to be interesting. I think it'll be their first bowl since like 2015, 16, 17, somewhere around there. So that'll be an interesting game, but we will not have coverage of Middle Tennessee pre, day, or post game. So there is that. But you all be safe. I've actually got to do some more packing. This is a getaway night. We'll see you guys. Take care. All college football is good college football. If you're making the trip, be safe for going up to Nashville.